know if they'll ever offer that for free, but they should be giving us. I mean, if I'm a season ticket holder, I'm already saying, look, I'm negotiating with the season tickets manager, who whatever their stupid title is, and I'll be like, yo, if you can't do it, let me talk to Jerry myself. Because
Let me know how that works out for you. I'd love to know if you can get to talk to Jerry.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, I would. They say if you want something, you go all the way to the top. Who's more at the top than he is? So what I'm saying is, Jerry ain't the only master negotiator in the solar system. I mean, some of us also have that gift. So, but how you doing, Kate? I missed you.
I'm good. I'm good.
Cool.
Got a new puppy. He's 5 months old today. Yesterday. Lord, he's big.
What kind of puppy is it?
He's a Bernedoodle, so it's part Bernese Mountain Dog, part standard poodle. He is, like I said, 5 months old yesterday. He's already 35 pounds. He's going to be 70 if he's going to be anything. He's just a lot of dog. A lot more dog than I was bargaining for when I got him. So that's on me. My bad.
Well, if he's already 35 pounds, we might have to have him tested for PED usage. I'm just saying. Well, it looked like you got a tan too. I know you're on vacation too, right?
I've done some trips and stuff, but my vacation is in September. I'm out. I'm going to be out of the country and on a beach sipping drinks with umbrellas in them from September 1st to the 12th.
What's up? You're listening to her in the huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. And we are here talking some football. We got Willie, we got Kate here already, and we are about to get into it. So one of the things that we have started talking about was we were talking about Michael Orr and the blind side, whether or not it was true or not, what really happened. If you don't know the story, Michael Orr was kind of adopted, and he was supposedly adopted by this family, and turns out that he probably wasn't adopted. So that's the story going on right now. Kate and Willie, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, we are all set. So we have moved on to the topics of Kate's dog, Milo. How's Milo doing, Kate, now that you've had a chance to greet him and stuff?
He's downstairs crying. I can hear him crying.
Oh, why don't you go get him?
Girl.
Or will he whimper?
You don't know what you're asking.
Hey, you know what though? Let me add something to that Michael Orr story. I know somebody personally that played on that team with him.
In college?
No, in high school.
Okay.
At what's the name of it? Winwood Christian, whatever it was. I know somebody personally that played on that team, and you guys know him as well. He's an former NFL football player. He's been on my show at least once, and we actually talked about this. And this was, I want to say this probably was in 2016 when I had this gentleman on the show. And he basically told me that all of that stuff was a bunch of BS.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, if anybody wants to know the person that I'm talking about, you can follow me on Twitter at Shakeback Media Group and on Instagram at Shakeback Media Group. Also on Threads at Shakeback Media Group. You can send me a DM. I'm gonna look. I can tell you exactly who it was, and when I tell you who it was, it may shock some people.
You know, I want to
know. Look, I need to make a trip. We're planning a trip to Green Bay for the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Green Bay Packers, as the Shakeback Media Group will be presenting the second season of the Real Moms of the Shield. Rashawn Gary's mom, that of course is Jennifer Coney Shepherd, plays for the Packers. Brandy Guyton, her son, plays for the Los Angeles Chargers, and we are planning doing a show live from Lambeau Field, and it will be the frozen tundra by that point. So I actually need a GoFundMe. I need some sponsorships. I can break this down to you guys and tell you who this person was. that I had on my show that can shed some light on this whole Michael Orr situation, but I need a couple of dollars. I mean, it's just what it is.
I get that. Make sure you drop your cash app for our audience members, and I already know you're gonna handle that on social media as well. So I already know that's coming. But that's awesome. That's an amazing opportunity. That's wonderful. That's awesome. And I wish you had got a chance to come to the Raider game here and meet Cleveland Kate, meet Natalie Turk, and your Cleveland family come drop by the studio and stuff like that. But that didn't happen. But there's always time for that.
I ain't even got to come to the I don't even have to come to Cleveland just because the Raiders are playing. I'm just trying to get to different places around the world. And Cleveland is definitely on the list. And I would like to make it a lot sooner than later. I don't know if I'll get y'all in before Dubai, but I am going to get y'all in because we are going to Dubai next year.
Okay, well, that's a lot more exciting. So I can definitely see you not wanting to come to CLE. So,
but I do. I mean, I owe you guys. At least an adult beverage. And we can just pick out one from Kate's stash because
all of her mugs and drink it out of one of her mugs.
Oh,
Kate, how many coffee mugs do you have?
I may or may not have upwards of 112.
Oh my God. And where do you keep all these mugs? Because I know they're not fitting in your cabinets. Or do you keep them on like a shelf in your basement, or where do you place them?
Girl. So I got 2 boxes in the basement because I rotate them. Because I feel like my coffee mugs are like the toys in Toy Story. Like they have a life of their own and talk to each other. And they get all sad if they're not in the rotation. Okay. And then I have... my dog's going to get me. I'll walk you down and show you. And then I have a husband who's very handy with a hammer. I keep buying things to hang my coffee mugs on. So let me see if I can show you because this is crazy.
First of all, I like the new do.
Oh, it's very pretty. You.
Wait a minute, who's that?
I have no idea what that was.
Who that woman was?
That was Dana from Our Turf. All I did was I tried to flip my camera around. All right, we'll go this way.
Let's get her.
So I have these coffee mugs up here. That's how it started, right? 6. Very easy. But then things got out of control. And then I added this. And then I added this.
We got frozen on one of them.
Too much, whatever she puts in them.
I know.
It's unstable, but that's okay. So am I. So anyway, I just added a whole bunch of things on the wall. My husband has to keep hanging things to hang my cups. He has put a moratorium on cups in the kitchen, which is why I have 2 full boxes in the basement. I thought Willie was talking about my bourbon collection because I may or may not have 70 different bottles of bourbon.
Are you serious?
Share if he would ever come to town to visit.
Oh my God! You have 70 bottles of bourbon. There's more than 70 manufacturers of bourbon.
Allegedly. Yeah.
I don't even know if I've ever even drank bourbon before.
I have like once or twice.
Technically, Jack Daniels is bourbon. Although
really?
It's made in Tennessee and you got to be made in Kentucky to be called bourbon because Jack Daniels don't want to be called bourbon because that's a Kentucky thing. So they made a rule that says it has to be stored, distilled in Kentucky so that Jack Daniels is just whiskey. But it's just 51% corn mash and stored in oak barrels and there's just rules. It's okay.
Is that anything like oldie?
Yeah.
Like Old English 800?
Yes.
Oh my God. That's gross.
Is that anything like
yeah, we got Old Crow, Old Granddad, Old Tub, Old Dog, and Old Forester. I've never seen an Old E in the bourbon aisle.
Have you ever? Is that anything like Split Malt Liquor Bull?
No. No. Mad Dog 2020. Booze
Wild
Farm
Irish
Strawberry.
Rose.
That was my high school days.
Oh, no funky brass monkey.
No.
What's that?
You don't know what brass monkey is?
No.
Who made that?
I know it was a band or a song or
no,
something.
No, it was a song, but it was based on a drink. Brass monkey. That's a
Funky
drink.
Monkey. I know the song. I just didn't know it was about a drink.
Yes.
Now I got to Google it.
I know, me too.
No, you ain't got to Google it. Just go to your local watering hole and they might have it.
Okay. All right. What were we talking about before we got distracted with bourbon and coffee mugs?
Oh, the Michael Orr story. Were you going to tell us, Willie, which football players that play with him, or how we gonna figure that out?
I gotta get a donation, man. I'm telling you, I need some
He's
dollars.
gonna hold on to it, but Rachel, it's not as simple as the summary you gave, which is he thought he was adopted by this family and he wasn't. He was basically homeless, African American young man, very large for his age. According to the movie and from what I've read, his mom had a bunch of kids. Some of them got taken away. He would get taken away and then go back. And the Toohey family, the mom, they found him and took him in. They were a very affluent white family, very big supporters of Ole Miss,
Mm-hmm.
NCAA football. Took this kid in, got him playing football at a private prep school. According to the movie shows this family that was just very Christian and trying to do something nice and standing up to their friends when they made remarks about it and doing everything they could to get him through high school and get him to pass his classes so he could go to college. And now things are making it sound like they didn't do half the things that the movie made it sound like they did, that it wasn't just them trying to be nice and help this unfortunate young man get a good start in life, that it was all about getting a very, very high quality football player for college. So we'll see, as it's all just breaking. We'll see as time goes by what all is said about it and what comes out. It's just very, that's a very popular movie, and that story, it's like a feel good story and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not true, or if it's not, what this young man, he went on to played for the Ravens, didn't he?
He was the I want to say he was the 30th overall pick by the Patriots, and they traded him to the Ravens.
Okay.
And he went on to become a perennial All-Pro or Pro Bowler.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll find out more about what's going on. In the meantime, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR, is looking good. I predict he will be third string, if not second string, by the time the season starts. I really love that young man when we drafted him, and I like everything I've seen from him now in two preseason games. This week the Browns are doing shared practices with the Eagles. I find that interesting, because we usually do the Bills, right? We usually do some kind of practices or scrimmage with the Bills. So I don't know how they've finagled time with the Eagles.
Remember we did the Giants. We've been rotating the teams, because remember they did the Giants, and remember they got into all the fights and stuff like that. Yes. So they've been rotating. So I don't.
Yeah, apparently it's Philly's turn. We'll see.
Yeah,
but aren't they playing?
Last year Philly came here.
Aren't they playing the Eagles in the second game, or I guess it'll be the third game?
Yes, this week. So they're doing practices together this week, and then they play each other.
So that's the deal behind that, because they'll joint practice for the week, and then they'll put it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really good challenge, because going up against who probably should have won the Super Bowl, I think that's a really good challenge for them, especially with this new defense and stuff like that, to play against a really good team and a pretty good measuring stick. So I'm pretty glad it's happening. My concerns is them going out in Philly and stuff like that, because there's a lot more to do in Philly than it is in Cleveland, Ohio. So I definitely want them to be on their best behavior.
I don't know if there's that much more to do in Philly, but what I do know is I don't feel like they're getting experience going up against a Super Bowl team this week, because it's preseason. It's third and fourth stringers. It ain't, Jason Kelsey against whoever we got at nose tackle. I mean, it's not. I don't think the cream of the crop of the Eagles is going to be taking on the Browns. So it's all right. Our starters aren't going to play much anyway either. So I don't know. It is what it is. I find Hard Knocks very interesting this year, because the last episode I just watched was the Jets and the Browns game, the Hall of Fame game, that preseason game, and watching the sideline stuff and the Browns players that went over and talked to Aaron Rodgers and stuff. That was kind of interesting.
So the Jets is doing Hard Knocks this year?
Yeah.
Oh, how's that going so far?
It's interesting because, they got Aaron Rodgers and all that drama. And then Sean Payton said all those things about Nathaniel Hawthorne. So that was
Hackett.
Nathaniel Hackett. So that was a thing this week. And I'm sorry, I get it. Coaches aren't supposed to say bad things about other coaches. But at the same time, he didn't say nothing that wasn't true. Aaron Rodgers may love Nate Hackett from sun up till sundown, and he may be the best offensive coordinator that Aaron Rodgers has ever worked with. But you cannot deny the fact that he was a horrible head coach for that year in Denver. It is what it is. Some guys are not head coach material. Stay in your lane. If you are an amazing OC, do your due. Be who you are. Stay where you're at.
I got a question. I got a question that should go up on a poll.
Uh-oh.
Ask Shake Back. Huh?
You said a poll. Oh, a poll. Never mind. Go ahead.
POLL.
Got you.
Not POLE.
All right, polecat.
Cleveland Kate. Here's a poll question. Ask Shake Back Media Group. Who had the worst head coaching experience? Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, or Nathaniel Hackett? At Shake Back Media Group after the show. It's going up there on the poll.
All right. What is the correct answer? Because I know you don't ask those questions unless you already know the right answer.
No.
Let's go to break first.
Oh,
and then we'll come back. So we'll eagerly await Willie's question. And then we've been talking for a minute. So okay, no break. So we're going to keep on going. So okay, Willie. So tell us then. Answer Kate's question then.
I don't know if they're look. This is a classroom participation, and I will say this: there is no wrong answer. If you pick Joe Judge, you get 100. If you pick Matt Patricia, you get 100. If you pick Nathaniel Hackett, you probably get 100 also. You probably will get more for Nathaniel Hackett because that team had way more talent than the other two teams.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. I'm leaning Hackett. I thought Judge, it was a horrible year, but I also don't know that they gave him anything to work with and they didn't give him any support. And I don't know that he could have done much better with what he had. Hackett was a mess. You can't take all three of your timeouts in the first 6 minutes of a game. Come on. They hired him someone to help that didn't help. They hired him that guy that retired from the Ravens to help, and that didn't help. Like, I got it. I mean, the year Judge had with, what was it, the Giants, wherever he was terrible, but he didn't have a lot to work with. I'm with you. Hackett had a lot more to work with. He had Russell Wilson. Russell don't need to be coached. Just leave him alone. Let him go.
Oh, no, he needs to be coached.
Well, he don't want to be coached. I guess we'll say it that way. We'll see how he and Sean Payton
I don't give a turkey what he wants. He needs to be coached.
I said the same thing about LeBron James back in the days. He needed to be coached. I don't know that when he moved to Miami that Eric Spoelstra was the right place for him to go. I still don't know that he's had the right coach and his career's almost over. Anyway, I'll look for that poll on the Twitterverse after the show so I can weigh in.
Yeah, George had a comment about preseason football. We're practicing. Who cares about games like this? So I guess he's talking about that Philly game and the Eagles. But Kate, I was going to ask you guys, you Willie too. You don't think that the ones will go against the ones for at least a series or two in this game, or or in practice, have the ones go against the ones and stuff like that on offense and defense? Do you think that that'll happen at all?
I think that this is the third game for Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
So the ones should get at least a quarter. And with it being the second game for the Eagles, since there's not the fourth game anymore, because the third game used to be the dress rehearsal, I'm thinking that we're going to see a lot of one-on-ones, best on best.
I think in the game, you're right. In practice this week, no, because you still got quarterbacks wearing red jerseys in practice.
Well, they do that during the regular season.
Scrimmage action. They don't want their defenders hitting our quarterbacks. So I can't imagine our ones going against their ones in practice. But we should get one or two at least, if not three series out of your ones in this game.
Mm-hmm. Well, they wear the red jerseys during the regular season anyhow. Yes or yes?
Well, I think the referee's glasses have red jersey tinted on it for him.
Especially
They
when
have
it
these
comes to Patrick
glasses, like
Mahomes.
3D glasses with technology in them, where every time they look at a quarterback, that jersey turns red.
Patrick
Yeah.
Don't let
Mahomes,
them touch that.
other than
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, other than that, is fair game on any quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chris
Don't get
says,
me
"What's
started
up?"
on Baker Mayfield's a runner against the Raiders, and you're allowed to tackle him. That ain't roughing
uh,
the quarterback. No, that ain't. I'm still salty about that one, Willie. All right.
Kate, George has a question for you. He said, "When will Watson actually play more than one series?"
I think this week, I'm hoping this week I get 2 out of him.
Yeah, because he went 3 for 3 and three on he ran the ball 3 times, so and drove them down to a touchdown, right?
Yes, but I need to see more passing out of Deshaun. I'm still not comfortable with this passing game. I need to see that he can hit a receiver in stride in the hands. He hit a lot of people in the knees and in the ankles last year. I don't have 12 weeks for him to get the rust off and figure out what he's doing. I don't know. I'm not happy with any of this. Kellen Mond needs to get a whole ton of looks so that other teams can see him and want to take him from us so we can move DTR up the depth chart.
You
Dobbs
don't
can go. I don't care about Dobbs. I
you
just
don't think
ignore
that they're
him.
gonna keep 3 quarterbacks?
I think
No.
they're going to keep 3. They don't need 4.
Yeah.
Well, who's the fourth one? Oh, Mond is the fourth one, right?
Yeah. Because you got Joshua Dobbs at 2, Mond at 3, and DTR at 4. You can't put him on the practice squad. Somebody will take him. You just drafted him, right? You can't get rid of him. He's my future mental quarterback for this team. So he's going to be up to 3, which means they're going to have to let Mond go.
Mm-hmm.
He's had time, but he'll get some reps in the game. Hopefully he'll look good so that some people are interested, but they may just release him and let him get picked up. I think they're more sold on Josh Dobbs than Mond, so we'll see. Who's your quarterback now, Willie?
And then you had almost an hour and a half
I know the
delay.
answer, but I want to ask it. Who's your quarterback now, Willie?
We don't have a quarterback. You know who our quarterback is.
Is it healthy?
You know who my quarterback is. Don't play with me.
I don't understand.
Derek Carr. Derek Carr looked so good against the Kansas City Chiefs the other day, man.
I know.
Almost threw up in my mouth.
Said everybody watching when he's with the Saints now, everybody watching the Saints is going to be looking at Derek Carr and thinking Raider Nation sad. Sad, sad, sad. You got Jimmy G, don't you? Isn't that who you picked up?
I am not saying I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
Fine.
I mean, G 3P20 is okay. 2P30, that's his name. 2P30. He's all right if he can stay healthy.
Well, I have it. I saw a bunch of excitement for the rookie from Purdue that was drafted, Mr. Aiden McConnell, saying that this dude is definitely the future. Well, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if the future was so bright that the future becomes not just the future, but the future becomes now.
If he gets hurt, he'll be in.
I'm so just.
He's not one of the quarterbacks I was familiar with in this year's draft, so I don't have a lot of comments for you.
Well, he put up monster numbers at Purdue. Monster numbers.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
I don't know. I just can't wait to see how CJ does with the Texans. I have high hopes for the Texans this year. Between getting CJ Stroud at quarterback and then picking up Will Anderson Jr., getting the best, in my opinion, best offensive and defensive player in the draft this year, I can't wait to see what they do with it. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm very excited for CJ Stroud, but they got to make sure that they protect him. So I'm very excited to see what they can do, what he can do at the pro level, and obviously he wasn't able to win, a national championship with Ohio State. I feel like, he came very close, but, obviously, history books will tell us something else. But, I'm very excited to see, how good of a quarterback he can be at the professional level because, Ohio State is not really known for developing quarterbacks and for them to be able to have any success in the league, if at all, any success. But, I feel like, he has the physical tools and the gifts and abilities to actually be successful. I mean, the jury is still out, on Justin. What's his last name?
Justin Fields, but he's not in the best situation either in Chicago. They need a whole lot of help in Chicago.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, I
So,
feel like the Texans made a lot of moves this year to improve in the offseason. They made some commitments to the defense. You know, they turned Deshaun Watson into a whole lot of good stuff this year. So I feel like they're taking it seriously. Whereas with the Bears, they've had some coaching issues. They've had some front office issues. They haven't really, I mean, they're going to start the season with Justin this year. And I don't know that the problem is Justin anymore. I think it's a supporting cast issue for them in Chicago. We'll see.
I absolutely feel the same way. He wasn't drafted into a good situation, and this will be year three for him. And usually, you know what you have in a quarterback. I believe that he can be successful as well. When I was talking about quarterbacks being drafted, I more or less was kind of alluding to some quarterbacks being drafted in the past. That came from Ohio State, some shorter quarterbacks, but you got some quarterbacks that have some physical tools, such as Justin and CJ. So definitely excited to see what
Yeah,
lies
they
ahead for
ain't
them.
Troy Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I'm
I
saying.
thought Troy Smith was a good quarterback too, but obviously
In college, yes, but I didn't think physically he was the right size for the NFL.
no,
CJ is.
no, absolutely not.
CJ absolutely is.
Well,
Hmm.
they better learn how to protect him. Otherwise, it's going to be all
Yep.
she wrote.
Well, you could say that to any of those teams that drafted a quarterback in the first round.
But
You better protect them.
yeah, but the thing is that we're okay. Here's another potential poll question: Who has the better offense? Who has the better offensive line for the rookie quarterback that they drafted? The Colts, the Panthers, or the Texans?
Would you go with Texans, Kate?
No,
I would say
I
the
actually
Colts.
think I almost want to say the Colts have a better offensive line.
I'm going to say the Colts.
I'd have to look and see what the Panthers numbers were last year, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, one of the things I was going to ask y'all or mention as well that I had in our topics, Jacob Phillips is gone again for the second season in a row. So hopefully, we don't have our whole linebacking core decimated by injuries again. But it just sucks because his season was ruined last year because of injuries. So you just hate to see something like that. So we're
Cut
at a
him.
loss again for
I'm done.
linebacker.
I'm done. It's 2 season-ending injuries in training camp. Gone.
Yeah,
Let
but
somebody else have him. I'm done. Next.
but is it really his fault though?
Yeah,
Doesn't
it's his
matter.
fault.
Done. Next.
Whose else's fault would it be?
In Joe Thomas's Hall of Fame speech, he said he finally understood what the phrase availability is the most important ability for an athlete when he was in Cleveland, and he was available for 10,363 snaps. I need somebody who's available. I don't care whose fault it is. You had 2 season-ending injuries 2 years in a row in training camp. I don't have time for you.
I think Joe
Bye-bye.
Thomas was given injections.
He may have. He probably.
I'm not I'm not listening to any of this la 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 la.
Because there's no way in God's green earth that he wasn't hurt or something wasn't hurting him and stuff like that. And obviously he knew what that record was, so he was going to continue to go for it. So they were shooting him up with stuff to make sure he was out there on that field. So I definitely think he was getting shot up with something for any injuries that he had. And thank God, he had never had no major injuries in his. And obviously that record is so impressive.
I don't know
it
if
probably
there's
will
an
never be
NFL
broken.
player who isn't shot up with something
I was about
to
to say,
keep
what
him
makes
on the
her-
field.
what
It
makes
is
her-
what it cortisone, whatever. Steroids, it is what it is.
What makes her think that that's breaking news, Kate?
It's not.
I
But
don't
for
know.
10,000 plus straight snaps.
He played 10 and a half years in the league. He protected 20 quarterbacks. He had 6 head coaches, 9 offensive coordinators, and 10,363 snaps. I don't know how he did it.
I don't know.
We know how we did it.
Are you saying he was on steroids?
That's not what I'm saying.
No, but he was definitely getting some pain management. That's all I have to say about that. Is it time for a break?
I don't think so. DJ Styles, I think, wants us to go, but we are 35 minutes in, so it's actually passing fast. What else we got on the NFL, guys?
Wait. Kate, do you need to get some water or something? You keep begging for a break. What's up?
What?
You I say, why you keep begging for a break? You need some water? Oh, okay.
Kate stepped away for a second.
She's showing us the ceiling, which means she's probably doing something that doesn't need to be discussed.
Which is fine, Kate. If you want to step away for a second, you need to step away for a second. What you eating on? What's that?
She not talking to us.
Oh, ew, you eat Reese's peanut butter cups?
Oh,
Oh, that's right. Because when we
wow.
went down to Columbus, I bought you some. Ew, that's right.
That's my favorite.
Ew, Willie, you eat
Do I?
those? Ew.
What is your favorite? Okay, never mind. That's enough of the questions.
No, my favorite chocolate bar, because I really don't eat chocolate at all, but my favorite chocolate bar of all time is a whatchamacallit bar.
Yeah, I can dig that.
Those things are delicious.
Kate,
Straight 80s.
Kate just said, I'm out.
She'll be back. Make sure she get let back in.
Yeah.
Anything else football wise? Did you want to move on to the AP top 25 before
Well,
we moved
I,
into baseball?
a couple of different things here. The Baltimore Ravens remain the world champions of preseason football as they won their 24th straight preseason game over the
Oh my
weekend.
God, are you serious?
And how about them Las Vegas Raiders, man? They look pretty good against the doggone San Francisco 49ers, baby.
Did they?
Got after the quarterback a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what they do. This is what they do. This is what they do to us. It is the narcotic that remains the barbiturate that is the Raider franchise. They show us these things, and then just like Lucy on Charlie Brown, they take the football away and we try to kick it, and we end up on our back.
He's not really upset about that.
Yes.
How did Jimmy look? Did Jimmy get any snaps at all?
Jimmy did not play.
Okay. Who was y'all quarterback?
Aiden McConnell.
Okay. Where'd he come from?
Purdue.
Oh, okay.
Big Ten.
Okay. I don't remember him because Ohio State probably destroyed him. So it's not, really anything that,
They didn't destroy Georgia.
My apologies.
They didn't destroy Georgia. They didn't destroy Georgia.
They almost did, quite honestly. If it wasn't for a field goal that
hand grenades and horseshoes.
Yeah, but
ain't no buts.
I mean, all right, history says this is what happened. But in our hearts and objectively, we know that Georgia should have lost that game and Ohio State should have won that game based on the way Ohio State was playing. Unfortunately, towards the end, I feel like Ryan Day didn't make some of the best decisions defense-wise, or maybe we can blame the defensive coordinator. But offensively, they took their foot off of the gas. And maybe Georgia made some adjustments as well, too, because obviously they did something to get back into that game. And, they were able to scheme against Ohio State and win that game. But, the team that played the best was Ohio State, even though they didn't win the game. And that game should have been the national championship. I think, it would have been a better delight to audiences. But, it's just there was a lot of drama, too, because it was New Year's. And, pretty much once that kick went up, the ball came down. So it was a lot of drama, that happened with that as well. And George agrees with me. He said that the targeting call was taken away, which is something that could have also changed the game as well, too. But like I said, history says, you shaking your head, but history says something different, and Georgia won the game. It is what it is. But
I am so tired of us as fans saying that if it was this or if it was that, especially when there's a lot more football that has to be played after whatever the this or the that was that happened at that time. I can go all the way back to 2001 in the Snow Bowl in Foxborough when the Patriots and the Raiders were in a divisional round game, and Charles Woodson comes off the edge, sacks Tom Brady, knocks the ball loose. The ball is picked up by, I forgot the linebacker's name. They go and review the stupid call, and they overturn it, and the next thing you know, the Patriots go off and win 5 more Super Bowls. But for that, we can all say that. We can all say that. There was a lot of game played after that. As a matter of fact, the Raiders had chances after chance after chance after chance after that. It actually went into overtime, and Vinatieri kicked the ball between the uprights with in the snow, and they making snow angels. But I mean, when are we as fans going to stop doing that?
Never.
I got a headache.
We definitely not going to stop doing that as Ohio State fans, because we bitter and we upset that we lost that game. We could have won that game, and it's very unfortunate that it didn't. And then you look at can you honestly say that there's not any SEC football bias?
I mean, no. I'm not going to say that.
How they treat and do the SEC against other leagues and conferences, especially when it comes to playoff games. You don't think that they give a little bit more precedent or a little bit more favorable treatment to SEC teams, such as the Alabama, such as the Georgias?
It's the best conference in America.
Remember when it was trash?
That was a long time. I don't even remember when that was. But the SEC, look at it. If you go back all the way to the BCS and the end of the BCS era, right? When it was Tennessee that won a national championship, Florida won a couple of national championships, Alabama was winning national championships, LSU was winning national championships, Auburn won a national championship. What can you say when you have that many champions in that span of time? I think there was like 7 straight years where an SEC team was at least in the title game. That's not, I mean, and then, and it ain't like Michigan is in the SEC. Michigan is my favorite team, but I'm just saying, I'm just calling it like I see it. I mean, we can agree on that, right?
I mean, okay, that's, I mean, these are facts. These are historical facts as far as, the SEC, winning these games. I'll give you that. Yes, they are the best football league, but hopefully everything goes in cycles. And, to go back to the Big Ten being the best in football, although I don't see it, a lot of the other teams in the Big Ten being able to win national championships outside of Ohio State, really. So I don't think, I purposely didn't say Michigan. I don't see them being able to win, titles outside of, Ohio State for the big, but the Big Ten was known as one of the most vaunted, not league, what is the word? Conferences, excuse me. And then remember when the Pac-12 was, the conference to be in and stuff like that, I mean, with USC and anybody else other than
see,
USC
that's the thing.
winning titles.
That's the thing. The Pac-12 and, well, what soon to be the used to be Pac-12, the Pac-12 and the look, I got my Sacco. Let me bring him to the show. It's Harry Potter. You see that? Harry Potter.
Never seen a movie, never seen a book.
Me neither. But anyway, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten had a lot of similarities in the fact that they were top heavy. You have Michigan, and I wouldn't even put Michigan up there because Michigan just became more relevant in the last 4 years. 2 of those years that have gone straight to that have seen the Wolverines beat the Ohio State Buckeyes 2 years in a row, and 2 years that we have seen the Michigan Wolverines wind up in the Final Four. But so I'm gonna put an asterisk beside Michigan, so we can say Ohio State, yes. We can say Wisconsin to a degree, yes. We can say Penn State to a little bit of a lesser degree, yes. But then after that, what do you have? You have nothing. The Pac-12 is the same way. You have Washington to a degree because they did make the Final Four a few years ago. Oregon always seems to be an exciting team to talk about. USC has been down, but it's really just come back relevant in the last couple of years. You had Utah that upset USC in the Pac-12 championship game last year. And then after that, there's really nothing. But when you go to the SEC, you have Tennessee. These are the perennials: LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. those are your perennials. They're there almost every single year. And I don't mean just like on the fringe. I don't mean like putting an asterisk beside it like we did with, I don't know, Washington or Michigan for that matter. I mean, they're like there every other year, seemingly. But let me ask you this, Rachel. What do you think about this? What do you think about this major conference realignment that we're seeing? Because I got some thoughts about that, and they're kind of deep.
I have a lot of thoughts about it. Let's give a shout out to Chris Gonzalez, though. Chris with the fire signs. George says Ohio State may not, and this was back to the quarterback thing. Ohio State may not be QBU, but the wideouts may be a different story. That's absolutely true. George did note that a targeting call was taken away, which you kind of brushed off, but that was a pretty big deal, in that game. Ricky Smith, what's up, Ricky? He said, Williams sent there, Willie went there talking about you when you were talking crap about Ohio State. And George says the best two divisions in college football is the Big Ten East and the SEC West. And that is very simple. I'm kind of sad about, these teams leaving their conferences. I'm much more of a traditionalist. So, I don't want the Pac 10 getting absorbed into other conferences, because what are you going to have left? And then they're going to go pilfer from another conference too. And will that competition be as good as what was in the Pac-10? And obviously, the Pac-10 has been down recent years or whatever. But remember, they had their little run of dominance. And I think Oregon is only exciting. If it wasn't for Nike, would Oregon be exciting at all?
Mm-hmm. Because they wear so many different colors uniforms.
Exactly. So I'm like, obviously they had that run with Marcus Mariota, but Ohio State went ahead and took care of their business, and then they came into Ohio State last year and was able to get a critical win on the road. So
shout out to the homie LaMichael James, Doak Walker Award winner and friend of the Shakeback Media Group. What up, G?
Okay, I guess since they're a friend of Shakeback, okay, well, what's up, man? But but outside of that, when anybody ever beats Ohio State, they become an enemy. So, because they actually, so Notre Dame is the hearing away with Notre Dame this year, so they actually go back to Notre Dame. But I don't know. I'm kind of sad. I'm kind of sad what the Big 12 has done with those teams going into the SEC. So it's like, well, are you going to change the names of the conferences? Because the Big 10 is about to be like 18 teams. So why aren't you changing the names of the conferences too to realign with the amount of teams you got in there? The SEC don't have to change their name or anything like that, but the Pac-12 and the Big 10, like the Big 12, like what are they going to do? Because they've lost those teams. So I'm like, I think that name realignments need to happen as well too.
This is the thing. When you're greedy, you don't care about tradition.
That is very true.
You do not care about tradition, and we saw it coming. We saw it coming at the end of the BCS era. The last BCS championship game was what year? 2012? No, 14.
Yeah, 2014, because that Ohio State won in 2015.
Right. So that was the end of the tradition. What you're gonna and the bowl games, nobody's even playing in bowl games anymore. And you don't think that the NCAA is taking into account all of that stuff? When those recruits or when those NFL prospects are not, or when they're withdrawing from the team in like week 6, they don't care. They don't care. And that should be something that we keep our eyes out on next. Because winning a national championship is great, I'm sure. I mean, obviously, I've never done it. But if you are a once in a generational talent like Trevor Lawrence or I don't know, Josh Allen or anybody that has that type of talent, are you going to risk playing your senior year? Particularly if you know your team does not have an opportunity to even get to the Final Four, let alone win a championship.
Absolutely, I'm risking it all.
You're gonna play?
I'll play. Yeah, man. And if you are if you're an athlete, because you're a former athlete, I'm all about winning. I'm all about competition. I'm playing.
But these
Because
kids these days, Rachel, is all about money, fame, and being glorified and have a big social media presence. I'm not saying that they're all about not winning, but that the mindset has changed. Too
and
many people get participation trophies these days. So it almost feels like when you have all of these teams that are being lumped into one conference, you're going to have teams that in the same conference, like in the Big 12 or in the Big 10, rather, like the SEC. You're gonna have teams not playing each other for like every 3 or 4 years. So if I'm at Ole Miss or Mississippi State, or not, I shouldn't say those two teams because they're rivals with Alabama. But if I'm like Arkansas, I'm sorry, if I'm Oklahoma, who's going to be new to the SEC, and I don't really have a traditional rivalry or a natural rivalry with Alabama, I'm only going to be playing them every 3 or 4 years.
mm-hmm.
So why would I risk millions and millions of dollars to play the upper echelon teams once every 3 years? Why would I do that? I'm not saying I would, but I'm just saying I'm trying to play both sides of the microphone here.
Yeah, I was a 90s athlete, so we just built a little different. And, like you said, it's about not getting hurt. But I'm just like, if you ain't been hurt all these other games, why you really think you're going to be hurt? I'm not a superstitious person, quite honestly. So I don't really believe in that. So, you go out and play and that's what you do. But like I said, I was an athlete in the 90s and, we was willing to risk it all, because we wanted scholarships and all that other stuff. So, being willing to risk it all, I was that type of player. So, I'm a player in the championship game because especially the national championship game, I could see like sitting out of a bowl game, but to sit out of the national semifinal and the national championship, I don't agree with that. To me, that's just crazy.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you are one of those high level prospects that's got essentially a guaranteed rookie deal of about $48 million waiting for you, and your team has no shot at even making a bowl game, are you going to shut it down for yourself in week 4 or week 5 of the college football season? That's the question. And we've seen some people do that. They go to class, or they don't go to class, but they're enrolled. And they go and train at the facilities on campus. And next thing you know, you find out they ain't got but 9 credits, but they're a junior on the football field.
Yeah, because what was the Ohio State wide receiver that didn't play this year? I forgot what it was. It wasn't Jackson Smith and Jigba, was it?
Yes, it was.
Okay, yeah. Who to me pretty much held out. Ricky said he agreed with me about Oregon, about them not being anything without Nike, and he said pretty soon you can throw out any of the sense of geography within these conferences, follow the money. So he agreed with you as well, Willie. So that's definitely true. But yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba was kind of he threw it away for 2 years, quite honestly. Once he got hurt that first time, and he was drafted in the first round, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it can be done. He just proved that it can be done.
but Ricky, to your point, I want to say this to your point. What you said, I think, is 100% spot on. And here's the reason why. Because the pandemic changed everything in terms of how we work, in terms of how we learn, in terms of how we network. People were having happy hour by Zoom during the pandemic. So when you look at it from the standpoint of what the technology that has been derived or that has been that resulted from the pandemic that we were in, and kids can learn or get on their computers and do online school basically from anywhere in the world. Now you have these teams that don't necessarily have to be in the classroom, or these student athletes that don't necessarily have to be in a classroom. So now you can have USC that's going to be playing a game in Piscataway, New Jersey against Rutgers on a Saturday. You can have them going to the East Coast on a Wednesday, and those kids still be able to stay in class and get their practice in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true. The pandemic changed, every aspect and facet of life, So, that's absolutely correct. I do with you agree, Willie. Right quick, we got 5 minutes left. What do you think of the we ain't even touch Guardians or whatever. We can touch Guardians tomorrow. They're not playing tonight anyway. They have a night off. But what do you think about the college football rankings? Do you think, excuse me, that they're pretty much spot on?
I mean, it's going to always be a team that's not in the top 20 that's going to make a run. I'm going to tell you guys who to look out for, and you're going to think I'm crazy. Watch out for the Southern Methodist University Mustangs. I'm not saying that they're going to break the mold and crack the top 4 or crack the Final Four like TCU did last year. Mm-hmm. That team has a lot of talent. Their offense is high octane. They've got a lot of experienced transfers, to include my little nephew, Jonathan McGill from Stanford, back home to SMU. And their quarterback is experienced. He's got a strong arm, and they always get up and down the field on offense. I'm not saying they're going to crack the top 4, but watch out for them being talked about in terms of that team that could be undefeated late in the season.
Okay. All right. We'll be looking out for you said SMU Mustangs?
That's right, baby.
Okay, and congrats to your family member that's on the squad as well. That's dope. So
spiritual nephew. He's my spiritual nephew. He's our pastor's son, and I've covered him since he was a freshman at Coppell High School here in Texas.
Well, you don't have to be blood to be family, so it's okay. But I think that this is the year that Georgia gets beat in the regular season.
Right. Well, I mean, who's their quarterback going to be? I mean, there's just too many. College football has the top teams have more than 120 players on the squad at any given time. Mm-hmm. These so-called experts, while I respect what they do, man, don't nobody know nothing till they get on the field and get between the lines.
I don't even recognize 2 of these teams. I don't even recognize who number 18 is, and I don't even recognize who number 24 is on these college football rankings. Let me go pull up what I sent to y'all and see what the AP
you said. Which numbers?
So,
you said 20.
Oregon State. Okay.
Yeah, Oregon State.
18 and 24.
24. Tulane actually was in the Sugar Bowl last year.
Okay.
And they beat USC in the Sugar Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And USC has the odds-on favorite to not only win the Heisman Trophy this year, but to be the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft next year in quarterback Caleb Williams, who transferred to USC along with Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma.
Okay. So let's see.
Not bad for somebody who don't follow the sport that much, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. I'm looking. So how many SEC teams? So you got 1, 2, 3
in the top 5.
Yeah, 3 in the top 5. I was gonna say top 10, but yeah. Then you got a couple ACC teams. You got the Clemson at 9. God, I hate Dabo. 21. You got UNC. Oh my God, it's 9:59. Willie, that means it's time for us to roll.
Peace.
All right, thank you so much for being here today. I didn't even see what time it was. Oh my God. So we got cut off. So thank you so much. And I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bet.
Okay. Bye.